Today, we will be discussing a very interesting topic which has many aspects of knowledge like culture, polity, and administration, and many things mixed together. That is, I am talking about the suppression of Telangana identity, rise of regional parties, change in the society. Change is happening in the Telangana society. So, this topic is different from the other topics because in other topics you will see who is who, what he is doing, and what are the mulki rules, what are the court rules or court rulings, verdicts, and all those things. But today we will be discussing much about the society, much about the culture, much about the things happening in Telangana society. So, we will be covering the topics like rise of regional parties in 1980s, changes in the political, socio-economic and cultural fabric of Telangana, notion of Telugu Jati and suppression of Telangana identity. So, I am starting with the last one, that is notion of Telugu Jati and suppression of Telangana identity. What is Telugu Jati? Till 1975, I am just talking about 75, we don't have a symbol of Telugu Talli or Telugu Jati. But now 1975 period we are talking about Telugu Jati or Telugu Talli, or we are talking that we are all one, Telugus are one. This is not new. Actually, this started in 1912 itself. In 1920s, the idea of all Telugus under one roof in one state started in Andhra, Tenali, Andhra Mahasabalu, 1912. Since then, Andhras were trying to include Telugus of Telangana in the name of Andhra, Vishalandhra concept. So those things we have seen. The concept of nation or jati is very, very interesting. Like, what is a nation or a jati? See, any nationality has some common characteristics. One is language. People who speak the same language will be under one nation. This is one concept. But is this concept, will it be applicable to Telangana and Andhra so that we will be both in same state? No. Why? Because though we speak one language, there are a lot of differences historically, economically, culturally, socially, politically happening in these two regions. So that is why Telangana was separate. Its identity got what you call it blossomed. I would prefer to call as blossomed. Ante itla pushpinchindi. Telangana's culture blossomed in a different pattern because of various reasons. Geography plus economy and polity, the final one. All these things contributed. These differences, if we ignore that everyone is Telugu, it is wrong. So Telugu Jati notion can be talked in terms of language. We all can fight for the protection of Telugu language, but Telugu language cannot be the ruling, cannot be the main instrument to keep us bound in one state. But what has happened? Till 1956, we were into Hyderabad state. In 1956, into Andhra Pradesh. And Andhra Pradesh, the logical reasoning is we are all Telugus. Though it is not a linguistic commission, they just manipulated and talked about the linguistic state like Telangana merging with Andhra, and it is Andhra Pradesh. So finally, we were into Andhra Pradesh. But the integration was not there. Telangana was completely different and Andhra was completely different. That is why starting from 1956 onwards till 1969, there was no integration, completely different polity, different understanding, and suppression of Telangana was there. Now we have to explore one new possibility. This is the thinking of Andhra ruling class. Andhra ruling class thought of exploring a new possibility. What is the possibility? How can you suppress the identity of Telangana? For that, what we have to do is, we have to make some changes in all aspects of life. One is intellectual or one is psychological. The second one is physical. So we'll see how the suppression happened in this period in Telangana. First, immediately in 1972, I am talking about 72 events. Till 1971-72, we see the rise of Telangana movement, Jai Telangana movement, and suppression of Jai Telangana movement. Again, Jai Telangana movement going into political activity and TPS going into parliament and merging with Congress. All these things are happening. On the other side, another important thing has happened is Jalagam Vengalrao was sworn in as Chief Minister. Jalagam Vengalrao sworn in as Chief Minister in 1972, and Jalagam is best possible suitable candidate for the ruling class, whether it is center or the state, because Jalagam was instrumental in suppressing the aspirations of the people in Khammam itself. Jalagam was not supporting Telangana movement. Indirectly, he was trying to take the benefits out of this agitation through his group or lobby, but he was not supporting. So Jalagam Vengalrao, sworn in as CM, and Jalagam was instrumental in suppressing the Telangana movement as Home Minister. He was the Home Minister too in the last part. Then at the same time, he was suppressing Srikakulam armed struggle in Srikakulam. Srikakulam armed struggle is the part of Naxalbari movement or Naxalite movement, started in Bengal, West Bengal, Naxalbari, and in Srikakulam it was a huge armed struggle against the feudalism. Now what has happened? As the Home Minister, Jalagam Vengalrao suppressed both the movements, and now he is becoming the Chief Minister. In Telangana he could suppress Telangana, Jai Telangana movement politically and physically. Then in Andhra he could suppress Srikakulam armed struggle. This is the experience he has got. Ruling class need just such people. So as a result, Jalagam Vengalrao becoming the CM, and from this time onwards, the suppression of identity and creation of a fake or new false identity is starting. This is the key. This is important. Unless and until you create a new identity, unless and until you create a fake identity, new thing which is not real, but we feel that, yeah, this is us. So that fake identity, that fake understanding, that false understanding will keep us into one binding, that is Andhra binding, that is Andhra Pradesh binding. This was the background. So suppression of Telangana identity was happening as a cultural act. We'll discuss threadbare how culturally the suppression of Telangana identity was happening. Second thing is the physical colonizing of Telangana. Physically you have to colonize. We are using the term colonization. Colonization is a word, it's a political word. We talk in terms of political science. We speak in terms of colonies. We speak in terms of imperialism. Why shouldn't we? Nehru, he himself called about imperialist designs in 1956 or 53 when Andhra was forcing us to merge with them. When your Prime Minister is also talking about the imperialist design, we need not worry. So you can write. The colonizing of Telangana is happening at this point of time in a different way. Physical aspect also. Till here, you can see in employment, the people from Andhra were coming into Telangana and occupying the posts. But now you can see the space, the physical space in Telangana was also given to Andhras in different aspects of life, different fields. Those things we'll discuss. So third point is how they could succeed in blurring the identity of Telangana. I am using the word blurring. It's not completely gone. It's blurring, denting. కొంత మసకబారేటట్టుగా చేయటం. మసకబారటం అంటే అవర్ ఐడెంటిటీస్ though we have the identity, but we will not feel it, we will not claim it, or we will not live it. We have to live our identities, but we don't live in that identity, but we live in a fake identity or a false identity. That is what happening in this period. This is Vengalrao's rule. They have started. So in 1975, a major event is happening in the lives of Telugus. That is the first attempt to bring all Telugus under one roof in terms of a notion, that is we are all Telugus and Telugu Jati. This is not political or geographical, but now the first Telugu World Conference, World Telugu Conference, first conference, మొదటి ప్రపంచ తెలుగు మహాసభలు 1975. This World Telugu Conference was held in Hyderabad, 12th to 18th April. This is a serious attempt to bring Telugu identity in the place of Telangana identity. Even then, till 1975 also, you can feel, you can smell, you can feel the pinch of the Telangana identity. This is what Andhra ruling class is thinking. So you have to erase that. So to erase it, you bring another identity, that is Telugu identity, not Telangana identity. You can't name it as Andhra identity. People will repulse. People will revolt. So you bring Telugu as the word. That is why in the next course we can see Ramara was also talking about Telugu pride, not Andhra pride. If you feel that Telugus are Andhras, even Telangana people are Andhras, why didn't they use Andhra pride? They used Telugu pride. Telugu Jati Gauravam or Telugu pride. So this Telugu identity to counterpose the Telangana identity. You use such words in your examination. You should say counterposing. Counterpose Telangana identity. To bring emotional integration between Andhra and Telangana. Unfortunately, Andhra includes Rayalaseema. Rayalaseema is a buffer. Really, in a true sense, if we speak without any biases, Rayalaseema is also as exploited as Telangana. But unfortunately, Rayalaseema is always in the grip of the coastal Andhra ruling class. And Andhra, whenever we say Andhra, it is Rayalaseema too. So, aim is to bring 1975 World Telugu Conference aim is to bring emotional integration between the people of Andhra Pradesh as with a Telugu identity. So, for that, what you have to do? Really, if they would have done, see, in our Telangana history from the beginning, if your intentions are not good, if you feel that the integration should be very honest and we should live happily together in one geographical territory like Andhra Pradesh, you should be honest. And from day one, or you can say from the, in your background, in your mind also, even before signing an agreement, you have bad intentions. Andhra ruling class had this problem. That is why, though they have forced us to join, they are never honest to integrate. So, you see the efforts. When they have devised, when they have brought out some new methods, like during this World Telugu Conference, a song, Ma Telugu Talliki Mallepudanda, was sung for the first time by Tangaturu Suryakumari. This Ma Telugu Talliki Mallepudanda was written by Shankarambadi Sundaracharya, a native of Tirupati, a Tamilian by origin, but inspired by some cultures of Telugu. So he wrote in Telugu. He was a teacher near Tirupati, Tiruchanur. So Shankarambadi Sundaracharya has written this song, Ma Telugu Talliki Mallepudanda, and this song was made as state anthem. Nothing wrong if at all you are honest. But you can listen to the song, you will see where are the symbols of Telangana in that entire song. All the symbols in the song are completely Andhra identities. Whether it is Tikkana, whether it is Krishnaraya, or whether it is all other symbols, who and who are personalities, except Rudrama. Rudramma Bhujashakti was the only word you can feel that this is Telangana word. Except this Rudrama, all are symbols from Andhra. 6 or 7 people were talked about, and all are from Andhra. You don't mention a single Telangana personality. So how can you own that song? But they have imposed this song as the national state anthem. Once you impose it as a state anthem, what will happen? You have to sing every day. Every day you carry the false identity that we are Telugus and this is our pride. And this is happening in 1975. Second one is, till then you don't have Telugu Talli statue. Now you have Telugu Talli statue. Telugu Talli, a statue, an idol, Vigraham, is being made as a symbol of Telugu pride. Once you make a statue, that too a feminine statue, a woman, that too with some aspects of divinity. You see, Telugu Talli, it's like any goddess. Do you have, is it secular? It looks like a goddess. Then once a statue is made like a goddess and with Telugu as the tag, definitely you will incorporate some of the bhakti element into it. That is why Telugu Talli statue came. And very interestingly, Telugu Talli statue was installed, was kept at Secretariat, and in many places in Telangana and not in Andhra. It seems Andhras don't need a Telugu Talli because it's her mother, their mother. And Telangana people need a Telugu Talli so that they have to be inculcated this feeling of Telugu. This is another aspect they were importing into Telangana. First one is Ma Telugu Talliki song. Second one is this statue of Telugu Talli. When we speak of statues, interesting thing, in the this phase only, N.T. Ramarao phase only, I will be talking about statues, erected statues on Tankman. We will see how the issue of statues is very important, because in our Telangana formation during Million March, demolition of statues was a debate. So we will talk about it too. Then comes during this World Telugu Conference, some people, Telangana people opposed. At the same time, Revolutionary Writers Association, Veerasam people opposed it. Why? Because they are saying that you have suppressed Telangana movement on one side. I said in 1971, Veerasam already opposing the repression in Telangana. At the same time, they were opposing the repression on Srikakulam armed struggle. At the same ruling class, Andhra ruling class is suppressing both the movements. One is against feudalism, the other is against the Andhra ruling class hegemony or the rights issue of Telanganites. Just issue, democratic issue means we want our own rule, self-rule of Telangana. So that is why Veerasam, Viplava Rachayitala Sangam, or English we call it as Revolutionary Writers Association. They have opposed World Telugu Conference and they were taking procession and they were arrested. The arrested were including like great poet like Sri in those days. Then Cherabanda Raju, a Digambara Kavi, later became a Viplav Kavi, Jwalamukhi. Many people, many poets took out a procession against this World Telugu Conference, declaring that we are boycotting it. Then police arrested these people and arrested under MISA, Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Poets protesting against a cultural event is a threat to internal security. Remember, this is the aspect. Whenever you write a descriptive answer, don't just put the point. You have to elaborate the things beyond the sentences which you can see and examiner will be appreciating. Understand? So you have to write like this. MISA, they were arrested under MISA. Because it seems poets opposing a cultural event is a security to internal security threat. Is it not laughable? So this is the thing. So this is about World Telugu Conference. Then coming to the physical aspect of conquering Hyderabad. Andhra ruling class always had eyes on Hyderabad. Not now, from the beginning. If we quickly recollect, in 1948 itself, when Andhra state would have been formed, the center was saying yes. Neelam Sanjeev Reddy opposed. He said, till the question of Hyderabad is settled, we will wait. Why Hyderabad should be settled? You can carve out a new state from the Madras province and can be an Andhra state? No. They wanted Hyderabad to be free so that you can come. Again, come to 1953. I am quick recap. Madabush Anantshenam Iyengar, the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, an MP from Tirupati, what did he say? Our juggernaut or our chariot will not stop at Kandanavolu or Karnulu till we will just move till we reach Hyderabad. So from the beginning, they are having the eyes on Hyderabad. Hyderabad as the capital so that you can exploit a ready-made capital, a wonderful city, very fortunately for them, built 400 years back, modeled on one of the finest cities of 16th century, Isfahan in Iran. And here you have a wonderful city, all ready-made buildings, all the assembly buildings, town hall buildings, all majestic buildings. These things you can exploit. You need not construct each and everything. A ready-made city they wanted it to be the capital. At the same time, not just the capital and buildings, Telangana has high resources. The physical resources also should be counted. First physical resource is water. Second physical resource is about the energy, Singareni mines. And third one is employment. And fourth one is, of course, the whole territory. If you have a bigger territory, you can have a bigger market. If you have a bigger territory, you can rule a bigger place with lot of population and you can have lots of things starting from your political advantage till the commissions. I am saying very frankly, commissions, lanchan. So you need a big territory. This is what Andhra ruling class thought of. That is why they had eyes on Hyderabad. And conscious effort to colonize Hyderabad has begun in this period. Before that, we were talking about jobs. Now we are talking about the physical space. They are occupying the physical space. Even in 1920, some of the people came and settled near project areas when Nizam asked. Even in 40s, 50s, some people came. But employment is the major aspect. and agriculture is another aspect. Settlements of Andhras near the dams. Now, the place in Hyderabad itself is being colonized. Two important things are happening. One is industrial estates are coming up in Hyderabad. Second one is film industry gradually shifting to Hyderabad. This is basically a physical activity. Film industry coming to Hyderabad is a physical activity, but just not physical. It has some other things also. Once the film industry comes, it will have its cultural impact on Hyderabad too. That is what we have to understand. So, APIIC, AP Industrial Infrastructure Corporation, started in 1973, started around 15 industrial estates, and like Nacharam, Khudbullapur, these areas, whatever came up in the latter period. During Nizam period, the industrial estate was, major industrial estate was our Azamabad industrial area or Katedan. So, in the latter phase, we have many new industrial estates came. Sanat Nagar was also old. Sanat Nagar came in 1960s. And 73 onwards, you have new industrial areas. And BHEL already started. So, BHEL ancillary estate started near BHEL. At the same time, when you start a new industrial estate, what you will do? You will allocate. What do you allocate? The industrial plots in the industrial estate will be allotted to the entrepreneurs or the industrialists from Andhra. So now first the land is going to Andhra industrialists. In this way, first of all, they have established an industrial class in Hyderabad city as the people who are going to be the new rulers of Hyderabad. That is why we can see in the last phase of our movement, in Hyderabad, separate Telangana movement was at least feeble, not so strong, because the cultural demography, the physical demography, or the characters of Hyderabad state was completely altered. So, the denting or suppression of Telangana identity, Hyderabad is the best example. Apart from that, apart from those industrial estates, LIDCAP, that is Leather Industries Development Corporation of Andhra Pradesh, was formed by merging Hyderabad tanneries and some of the tanneries which were originally a Hyderabadi or a Telangana. So, once you merge all these things, all the facilities, the market, schemes, money, allocation will be made available to the entire area so that the Andhra ruling class can get benefited. Hyderabad Chemical and Fertilizers was taken over by AP Agro Industries Corporation. Like this, in the next phase, during liberalization, during globalization, we will be talking about disinvestments and those things. This is the first phase. Here it is not globalization or liberalization. It is a colonization of Andhras, making all the resources, physical resources like industries, industrial areas, and the scope of industry made available to the Andhra ruling class or Andhra industrialists. This is one. Then coming to the employment in these areas, who are the people to work in the factories? The people who are working in the factories, the technical people, were from, definitely they should be from nearby areas. What are the nearby areas? The best example is the case study of Medak District Employment Exchange. During 1970 and 80, we can see a great influx into Medak District Employment Exchange, where people from Andhra region were coming and staying here and taking the employment exchange card from Medak District Employment Exchange card, headquarters of Sangareddy. Even in my childhood, I am from Sangareddy. I am a native of Sangareddy. I could see many Andhras coming and standing in the queue near employment exchange to take an employment card from this place. So why they were taking? Because once you have Medak Employment Exchange card, you will be preferred in the industries in and around Hyderabad. So what is happening? Employees, workers are also from Andhra and coming and occupying the place which is reserved for Telanganas. This is another major aspect. So employment plus land in industries is gone. Then, very interesting aspect, everyone will be happy to see a film. We are all happy watching films. We are all happy enjoying the films, happy to see heroes, heroines and all, get involved everything. But the Telugu film industry, since beginnings, it has completely Andhra bias. Very frankly, it has Andhra bias. It was never intended to serve or cater Telangana. So, Telugu film industry originally, since Madras province was there for them, so it started, Telugu film industry had its beginnings in Chennai, But 1970s is the period when Telugu film industry is being shifted to Hyderabad. Why they were shifting? Did Chennai industry forced them to go? No. But here the Andhra ruling class thought that once we come to Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a fantastic place weather-wise. You see, you have a climatic condition. Our climatic conditions are so fine that it is not too harsh. So this is fascinating aspect for your life. Even today, many of surveys says Hyderabad is it is the best place to live in a city, best place to live in India, one of the cities. It is in top 2 always. So these things definitely helped. At the same time, the capital, the subjugation of Telangana and occupying the Telangana space is very important. Film is a very important instrument. So many studios were shifted. Government gave subsidies through AP State Film Development Corporation. Who is ruling? Your Andhra ruling class is there. Automatically the development corporation will be headed by the people who are in your favor. In Telugu there is a power. వడ్డించేవాడు మనవాడైతే ఎక్కడ కూర్చున్నా మన విస్తరణలో లడ్డు వచ్చి పడుతుంది. So the ruling class, that is Andhra ruling class is there. So automatically wherever you are, you will get all the benefits. You will reap the benefits. Subsidy was given to the film industry for lands, for studios, theaters, filmmaking, everything was subsidized. At least 30 to 40% amount was subsidized for many studios. If we take out the statistics, you can see how the people's money was spent on private people. You can take Annapurna Studios and Ramakrishna Studios, horticultural studios. In the heart of the city, you have Ramakrishna Horticultural Studios, and you have a lot of investment for the theaters for Ramakrishna Studios and this group company. Padmalaya, Ramanaidu, all these studios are coming up in this period. And they were allocated acres of land so that they can have a very huge land at their disposal and construct that. We can see the images of these things on the screen. And film industry utilized all these resources of Hyderabad and settled in Hyderabad. Now I am breaking here and I am talking about another thing. Recently I heard an interview of some prominent personality of Telugu film industry, and he was saying that one person asked, some of the office bearer of this movie make association or something body. One journalist asked him from Andhra, see, when are you shifting the film industry to Andhra? Then that person said, you see, from Chennai shifting to Hyderabad took at least 20 years. Andhra Pradesh is just now getting ready for us. So it will take some time. You can see the clear understanding or alienation from Telangana. The Telugu film industry, which has to cater all Telugus, what they are thinking, it is for Andhra. So in this way, we can see the understanding of Telugu industry completely catering the needs of Andhra. So they have utilized all the resources to alienate Telangana in many ways. So till now, we have seen how the colonization aspect of Telangana was happening post 1972 broadly. Now we'll take some examples, interesting examples, like in 1969 we have separate Telangana movement, Jai Telangana movement, and in 1970 you have a film which is very popular, a super hit film, that is Talla Pellama, mother or wife, directed by N.T. Ramarao, and in that you have a song. The song is Telugu Jati Manadi, Ninduga Velugu Jati Manadi. This song preaches unity. Vachindanna, Vachadanna, Yedaina Maname. It means Telangana is not different, Andhra is not different. You see the context, you see the time period when this song is being written or when the song is being popularized. Unfortunately, this song was written by Daxi Narayan Reddy, a Telanganite, a staunch supporter of N.T. Ramarao, of course. So Talla Pellama 1970 film, immediately 69-70, you are in the thick of the movement and you get a film, and in the poster, very interesting poster if you see, I'll read out. ఈనాడు దేశానికి కావాల్సింది కష్టపడి పనిచేసేవాళ్ళు కానీ ఇలాంటి సోమరిపోతులు కాదని ఒక బాలుడు బ్రహ్మవాక్కుగా పలికిన పరమ సత్యమిది. Talla Pellama is a social film, a family drama. What do you have this in national or political message in the family drama? కష్టపడి పని చేయడము సోమరిపోతులు. To whom they are referring to? They are indirectly. See, every cultural form or a symbol has some subtle meaning in it. This Talla Pellama poster itself, ఈనాడు దేశానికి కావాల్సింది కష్టపడి పనిచేసేవాళ్ళు కాదని, పనిచేసేవాళ్లే కానీ ఇలాంటి సోమరిపోతులు కాదని బాలుడు చెప్తాడు. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఏ పక్కా యాంటీ తెలంగాణ స్టేట్మెంట్. What they were talking about Telangana people, they were telling that Telangana people are not efficient, not capable, and this is a message they are talking in the film. And another film, Mattilo Manikyam, came in 1971. Now you can see the change. Till then, they were not making the films related to Hyderabad. They were not shooting, or they are not talking about Hyderabad. They were talking about the Chennai, Arundel-pet, or some of the streets in Chennai. Now they are talked about హైదరాబాద్. రిమ్జిమ్ హైదరాబాద్, రిక్షావాలా జిందాబాద్. 2 చక్రములు గిరగిరే తిరిగితే మోటార్ కారు బలాదూర్. అటు చూస్తే చార్మినారు, ఇటు చూస్తే మక్కా మస్జిద్. ఆ వంక అసెంబ్లీ హాలు, ఈ వంక జూబిలీ హాలు. తళతళ మెరిసే హుసేన్ సాగర్. వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్? హీ ఈస్ గివింగ్ ద కంప్లీట్ థరో అడ్రస్ ఆఫ్ హైదరాబాద్. నౌ ద ఫిల్మ్ ఇండస్ట్రీ is eyeing on Hyderabad, and you are shifting it to Hyderabad. Now the gradual entry into Hyderabad. And this song is also written by Dr. C. Narayan Reddy. So, film industry was making subtle statements about Telangana indirectly. Because in those days, you don't have much of the media to create hype or counter discuss. So, such messages, subtle messages and understanding carried throughout the film industry till 1975 also you can see. And when Jai Andhra movement was started in 1973, that is against the Supreme Court verdict. Supreme Court gave a verdict, the final verdict on Mulki. Supreme Court said Mulki is justified. Then what you have to do? Andhras felt that now we cannot get the employment in Telangana. So entire Andhra was burning. Till then we wanted a separate state, and 72 it got suppressed. Till then we wanted to live separately as a separate state. Then Andhra wanted separate state from 73 onwards. What was the reason? Only one thing, that is Mulki rules. You have Mulki rules, so we want a separate state. We have 100 reasons, you have one reason. And now Andhra became Jai Andhra movement for separation. And in Jai Andhra movement, though it is part of Andhra Pradesh, there were some law and order issues, firing and these things. Not as great as Telangana. Not as brutal as Telangana. But immediately the film industry responded. Film industry, we can see on the screen, Krishnan Raju is saying, Andhra Sodarlak Vignapti. Chaya Devi is issuing statement. Jai Andhra says S.V. Rangarao. Andhra Prajananika Vignapti says Krishna. He says, this is a great movement. భారత చరిత్రలోనే అపూర్వం. మీరంతా ఒకే మాట మీద నిలబడ్డారు. మీకోసం ప్రాణత్యాగాలు చేస్తాము. All these things he is talking. Vanisri is also issuing statement. All these statements came in the paper. They were issuing statements in the newspapers, appealing for peace, at the same time for separation of Andhra from Andhra Pradesh. The same question we were asking before, why you didn't agree to it? This is what the fallacy of Vishalandhra argument. Vishalandhra, whenever you are at benefit, when you can reap some benefits, you want Vishalandhra. If you have something in adversary, you don't want Vishalandhra. This is what you can understand. So this is the basic aspect. Suppression of identity started from here onwards. So space is occupied culturally, physically. This is the first aspect of our class. Now coming to the rise of regional parties and Indian scenario. All our books are giving of Telugu Desam only. The topic is broad. TSPSC has given a clear thing. Rise of regional parties, not one party. Indian scenario. So the books, most of the books are not talking about it. So you please note these points, very important. Prior to 1977, in Indian polity, you have Dravidian parties or political parties, local regional parties in Northeast or Jammu Kashmir. National Conference started in 1950s only. Dravidian parties, 1950s, and Northeast, it is completely different. Even today, you have many regional parties. In all these regions, regional parties were dominant. They were in existence. But in Andhra Pradesh, you don't have a regional party. And post-emergency, what is happening? I am talking about the national scenario, Indian scenario. Post-emergency, all the anti-Indira elements or anti-Indira parties came together and started a party which is known as Janata Party. And again in 80s, the Janata Party split. And when it came from different sources. When it is split, again it is forming different parties. This is what has happened. All the political parties we call as regional parties today in states have the independent existence before Janata and a common existence, that is Janata, and again going out as independent. You can see the constants of Janata Alliance like Janata Morcha, Bharatiya Lokdal, Swatantra Party, Socialist Party of India, and Bharatiya Jansangh. Remember this word. This is BJP's prior form. Like that, you have parties. When Janata Party has split, it again split into different regional parties. Biju Patnaik, Biju Janata Dal, Odisha. Devilal, Indian National Lokdal, Haryana. Devegowda, Janata Dal Secular, Karnataka Wang. Then Charan Singh, Western UP, representing the rich peasant sections of Western Uttar Pradesh or Jat sections of Uttar Pradesh. So, VP Singh, Jana Morcha, came out of Congress. Lalu Yadav in Bihar, RJD. Janata Dal United, Nitish Kumar or Sharad Yadav. And last one on the screen you can see Atal Bihari Vajpayee, BJP president. And this BJP is not a regional party, but still I have included here because BJP was not so strong when it split again. And in the first elections after formation of BJP, they won only 2 seats, not much. But only after Ram Janmabhoomi they could get more seats. So, Vajpayee, BJP. This is the latter form of Bharatiya Jansangh. So, this is the national scenario. Indira Gandhi is strong. After again Janata split, again Indira Gandhi is recapturing her position and he became strong. But in Andhra Pradesh, you can see when Janata swept all the elections in all the states, in Andhra Pradesh, Congress was so strong that out of 42 seats, 41 was won by Congress, Indira Congress. At that point of time, Indira Congress was a wing of Congress. There was another Congress, old gods, old men, and this is Indira Congress. In 1977, after emergency, the impact of emergency you can't see much in Andhra Pradesh. Then 80 elections, again Congress came. Chenna Reddy, the follower of Indira, became the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in 1978. So, in this background, again Congress got established in Telugu land, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana both. Now, N.T. Ramaraw's entry into politics, very interesting. Many people say some ahistorical aspects, like N.T. Ramarao wanted Rajya Sabha seat because he wanted and Indira was not giving, so he formed a party. If he would have given, he would have become Rajya Sabha member and no TDP. It's ahistorical. If N.T. Ramarao is not there, the sections which want the political power will find out another leader and that person will be occupying that space. Remember this. Don't ever write that. Emergence of N.T. Ramarao is having some conceptual aspects like notion of Telugu Jati. I am talking about what N.T. Ramarao has used and why he has used. Notion of Telugu Jati or Telugu pride are the key words he talked about. Telugu Jati Atma Gauravam. Telugu Desham Pilustundi Rakadalira. These are the slogans. Why he has chosen Telugu means it is not Andhra, it is Telugu, so that he can appeal to all the regions of Andhra Pradesh. There was a political vacuum in Andhra Pradesh. Only Congress is winning and there is no opposition. So what you have to do? You have to get into position. So you have to get some emotional angle to your slogan, that is Telugu pride. And who are the people who are behind N.T. Ramarao? Very interestingly, when we talk about the caste, in India caste is a reality. But when we speak of caste on screen or in the public meetings, we just mask it as some social group or Samajika Vargam. But in reality, what is happening in India? The caste is a reality and Kamma social group or Kamma caste, whatever you call, was the caste or group which got economic power. Remember, but not political power. Here in politics, as we can see, some castes were dominating, but not Kammas. And at this juncture, Kamma caste which has come out with a clear-cut agenda to occupy the political space, the opposition vacuum, got a clear leader, a towering leader in the form of N.T. Ramarao. And thus Ramarao started, and the social prop of Telugu Desam was Kamma caste. At the same time, opposition to Congress. This is linked in Andhra. But in Telangana, you have a different category. In Telangana, you have OBCs who were coming out of the yoke of feudalism, suppression of feudalism because of Naxalites. In Telangana by 1980, feudalism is at least on the last phase. So the BC sections who are coming out of the repression or chains of feudalism want a political platform, and majority of them occupied the post or joined Telugu Desam in 83. That is how in Telangana you have the BC support for Telugu Desam. You had, not now, because now completely shifting. You had the support of OBCs or BCs for Telugu Desam. In Andhra you have Kamma as the core or the base for this party. And another important aspect N.T. Ramarao has brought to come to power was when he toured Telangana, he gave a slogan, Naxalites are the only patriots in Telangana, in India. Naxalites are the only patriots. Naxalite Deshabhaktulu. Naxalite Deshabhaktulu kaadu. Naxalite Deshabhaktulu. What do you mean by Naxalite Deshabhaktulu? Telangana has a strong Naxalite movement during this point of time. There was severe repression unleashed by Congress governments. When Congress government is unleashing such repression, you people want some respite. And this man said, I am going to provide respite and I sympathize with your cause. And he said, Naxalites are the only patriots. They are fighting for just cause. By saying this, he appealed to the Telangana peasantry, especially the toiling masses or the people who were under the influence of Naxalite movement. This is the background. With this, within 9 months of the inception of the party, he could win over the majority seats and formed the government, became the CM. Very interesting research was done on this rise of Kamma caste or political power. Rise of Kammas, TDP and import of Andhra culture is the understanding I am talking about now. Like one French researcher from UK, she is a French national but she is from UK University. Her name is Dalel Bembabali. She did her PhD on the topic dominant caste and territory in South India, the case of the Kammas of Andhra Pradesh. See, if a Telangana person is writing, we can say that you are biased. But a French national do not have any claims or qualms about Telangana or Andhra. He is writing about it. Another paper she wrote is importing new cultures to the city, the role of migrants in the development of Andhra culture in Hyderabad. Very interesting topic. This is a paper, not a book. This is not her PhD topic. She is saying importing new cultures by migrants in Hyderabad, that is development of Andhra culture. This is what I talked about. Subjugation of Telangana identity or suppression of Telangana identity can be done by importing the Andhra culture into the city, and after some decades, you will not find any traces of Telangana identity in the city. You will find it as an Andhra city. That is what you can understand. Even the Srikrishna Commission in its report mentioned about some aspects, but these aspects are very critical but very shameful. You can see, it says, the TDP rule first under NTR and later Sri Chandrababu Naidu was marked by two key transformations in landscape for Hyderabad. First, NTR riding the Telugu pride turned the city into a cultural center for Telugu speaking people by creating several institutions and cultural symbols celebrating Telugu language, culture and heritage, as if till then Telangana or Hyderabad did not have culture. This is a shameful statement of Srikrishna Committee. Telangana is rich in cultural glory. We had all the spaces. We had collections, we had museums, we had our own spaces, we had our festivals, we have our own mushairas. In Hyderabad there were mushairas. Where are the mushairas today? Mushaira is a Urdu poetry recitation. Where are the mushairas? Ours was a composite culture. Where is the composite culture? Andhras came and made it as a monolithic culture. So this is what Srikrishna Committee is saying in a reverse sense. He says NTR created culture in Hyderabad. This is shame. Then the rise and subsequent long rule of Telugu Desam party dominated by the Kammas of coastal Andhra further consolidated Telugu identity. What is this? Who are Kammas to consolidate Telugu identity? Can't Reddys consolidate Telugu identity? Why Kammas? Because in this phase, in this part of Telangana movement. Kammas are the new party which are coming into Telangana and suppressing Telangana identity. Remember this. This is very interesting aspect. What Srikrishna is saying, again, a very bad, very shameful aspect of Telangana. He says, led, dominated by the Kammas of coastal Andhra, further consolidated Telugu identity. It means you lost your Telangana identity. By saying some false things, he is telling the truth. This is about Srikrishna Committee report part. Then coming to NTR's rule and its impact on Telangana. First one is abolition of Telangana Regional Board. That was the last political body. First, Telangana Regional Council was initiated in the gentleman's agreement, but it was not given. It was committee. Even that committee gone after 6-point formula of Indira Gandhi. Then board came, Telangana Regional Board, for the development of Telangana. And this board is also gone. NTR abolished Telangana Regional Board and no opposition. And last remnant of Telangana's gentleman's agreement is gone by this. Then, abolition of Patel Patwari system. I am not against abolition of Patel Patwari system as it has the feudal sense, as it has some inherited things and those things. In any modern society, it should be a scientific one, no doubt about it. But if you do in haphazard way, in Telangana, it has affected the irrigation system of Telangana because the people who were supplying water, Neeretigallu, or revenue systems, which were completely dependent on this Patel Patwari system. You have a different system in Andhra because of the development or economic dependency or economic part of British India, but Telangana was part of Nizam state. The systems which are helping the rural society in terms of irrigation were completely demolished. Once you demolish without creating a new establishment, without creating a new alternative, what will happen? All the irrigation tanks or wells will be orphans, will become orphans. There is no one to see. This is the damage he has done to irrigation. Then comes to Krishna waters. Water is an important one always for the Andhra ruling class. He had some pompous, very, very high-fly words like Telugu Ganga. నా తెలుగు దేశ సోదరులారా, తెలుగు సోదరులారా, మద్రాస్ సోదరులకు నీళ్ళు ఇవ్వాలి. వాళ్ళు మనుషులే, మనము మనుషులమే. He is paying back to Madras for his growth in Chennai. And who has to pay that? Telangana has to pay the price through Krishna waters. Telugu Ganga project envisages to give drinking water to Chennai, Madras. But en route, you have Handri Niva for irrigation in Rayalaseema. Galeru Nagari again for this one, which is detrimental to Telangana irrigation. Our water share is gone because of this. And at the same time, Srisailam left bank canal was completely neglected. So, in terms of Krishna waters, in terms of the Krishna river, we lost many things during NTR rule. Teluganga project, he wanted to take Krishna river to Chennai. This is what he planned and Telangana lost it. Then, Varuni Vahini, another important thing, Sara. Cheap liquor or Sara, what do we call? Liquor, Sara, not Kallu. Kallu is a traditional drink. Again, it has a different dimension. But Sara, made by the government, and he introduced it as Varuni Vahini. As I said, his words are so pompous, big, big words. Like his Telugu is typical Andhra Telugu, not even Telangana Telugu, and Sanskritized Andhra Telugu is the scheme. Varuni Vahini. What do you understand by Varuni Vahini? Varuni means Varuna. What is Varuna? Again, it comes to rain god. Where is rain in this excise scheme? In liquor. This is Varuni Vahini. Excise generating scheme. This is one of the important work during the reforms in Telugu period. Telugu Desham government. Professor D. Narasimha Reddy of Central University has written a wonderful book, Reforms, World Bank Agenda, and how it is being transforming, how they are being carried out by the governments. Like Varuni Vahini is the one. It destroyed the rural society because of the cheap liquor. Subsidized, at the same time, he was subsidizing 2 kg rice. Where do you get money for this subsidy? And he has earned excise revenue and put the same revenue into subsidy. And don't call it a subsidy because you are cutting the pockets of the poor people and paying them back in terms of subsidy. But he got fame because of this. And third point, during his period, opposition of Naxalites, you can see, Naxalites opposed this Varuni Vahini scheme. Then what was the reaction of the government? In the police stations, they have erected shamiyanas, and under shamiyanas in the police station, they were selling this liquor under Varuni Vahini scheme. That is why Prasadu, Prabhutva Sarayi Dukanam was the joke in Telangana in those days. You are selling liquor in police station because Naxalites are opposing. So you will forcibly, with the help of weapons, you can sell to the people. This is the adamant things NTR did. Then these are all the part of the reforms and already emphasized in the reports of World Bank and encouraging the ruling class to take up these things. Again, another important aspect during N.T. Ramarao rule, that is health university. Till then we don't have any central health university for the state, and this central health university was designed, and he has inaugurated this health university from Vijayawada. This is a conspiracy. Why? Because previously we had different universities. Universities would take the students directly through their admissions or common admission, but universities are the institutions which will take the students through their counseling or whatever the mode. Now everything will be done through Vijayawada, and when you bring all the medical colleges from the state under one area, under one university, you can deviate from the rules which are useful for Telangana. Why? Seats can be commonly pooled, allocations can be commonly made, faculty can be distributed. So many things they wanted to do for Andhra were taken from Telangana's resources. So this is about health university. And last one is dealing with Naxalites. The one who said Naxalite Deshabhaktulu, Naxalites are the patriots, true patriots, has lost his job of CM because of Naxalites only. Not only Naxalites, but this is one of the major activity. Severe repression in Telangana during N.T. Ramarao period. This severe repression led to a resentment in Telangana society against N.T. Ramarao. During this period, in the Naxalite topic, we will be talking about such things like missings. Missing means some people will be picked, Naxalites or alleged Naxalites will be picked, but their whereabouts will not be shown. So Naxalites again had to resort to some other form of so-called violence or violence. That is, again, they go for kidnapping the IAS officers. This chain of things were happening during N.T. Ramarao period. Till N.T. Ramarao came, the scale of violence, whatever you call, from the both sides, from one side, was not so big, but from this period onwards, you can see in a raised manner. And in last 89 elections, he lost elections because in Telangana region, there was complete resentment against N.T. Ramarao's policies towards the rural society and Naxalite movement. He treated it as land order than an economic and social issue. So, Jalagam Vengal to N.T. Ramarao, that is 1972 to 1989. We can see 72 to 89 means almost 17 years. This 17 years period has one specific aspect, that is their main aim to occupy the space of Telangana, whether in minds or in physical space. See, colonizing mind is very important. Once you colonize mind, what we will have? We can rule the people. Unless and until the people think that we are born to be ruled, the ruler cannot rule. నేను పాలించడం కోసమే పాలింపబడడం కోసమే పుట్టానంటే తప్ప పాలకులు రూల్ చేయలేరు. This is what Andhra ruling class thought of. They have created a new understanding, new thing that Andhra culture is great. Andhra understanding is important. During this period, they have brought many things into agriculture and saying that we know agriculture and we'll teach you agriculture. In terms of education and all those things also, we are civilized, you are not civilized. Previously, they were talking very rudely or crudely. Now, it is in a reformed stage. Not directly, but things are done in a very subtle manner. Through films they are doing, through occupying the physical space like industries, employment and many resources they are doing. You can see the change happening in 80 to 90 in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is the best test thing, means to understand the changes happening in Telangana. Hyderabad can be seen. Hyderabad reflects the change. Hyderabad is the, it is the mirror for all the things. 80s to 90s, some changes are happening in Hyderabad. Again, post 90s, new changes. Previously, I am talking about the culture of Hyderabad. We lost all the cultural things. Like, where are the Irani hotels now? Previously, before 80s, we had every corner of the city, every corner of the street, you have a Irani hotel. Irani chai is our favorite drink. We lost Irani hotels. 80 to 90 less. After 90, come 2000, all Irani hotels are gone. Only a few are left, which is catering to the people. Our food habits, like we used to have Usmania biscuit, chai biscuit, bun maska, lukmi, and Irani hotel. Where are they now? They are gone. Even Janata, which is a rural staple food, is gone. By this time, they have occupied such space also. Means eating Janata is a symbol of uncivilized thing. Rice is civilized. That is what they have brought in. So what happened? Janata gone in many things. But now again came back because this state or this capital is diabetic. Because we are diabetic, we eat Janata. Otherwise, Janata is not for civilized thing. And very interestingly and very importantly, Janata is our important food. For Dakkan, for our semi-arid areas, Jonnalu, Jowar is very important. And we lost it. And they brought back as a style statement as very thin Janata now today you get in the market. But our Janata are strong, that is very nutritious. I have talked about a cultural symbol, food habit, but not just a food habit. Our language is gone. In our language during this period, once the Andhra onslaught is happening into the Hyderabad city, I always say in the class, you see, how do you pronounce Hyderabad? A Telanganite will pronounce Hyderabad as Hyderabad because it is Hyderabad. But in Andhra, they call it as Hyderabad. Hyderabad, what is this? It is not Hydra or bad. Even Godavari, which is a Telugu word, how do they pronounce? It is Godavari. Don't you see an important aspect in their language that is anglicized? And they belittled the language of Telangana because it is Urdu mixed. This is composite, this is Dakhani. Our language had many words like Bazapta chesta, Bakaida, Barabar. You lost all those words. And this is language. And of course, about industries and employment, I have talked much, so I am not talking about it. So post 1972, there were conscious efforts to erase Telangana identity. Conscious efforts. Before that, violation was the main aspect. Now, those violations should be regularized. And in future also, they have to violate. They have to occupy each and every space of Telangana. So what the Andhra ruling class did was, they made conscious efforts to erase Telangana identity. Vengal Rao to N.T. Ramarav's rule made the changes, and the fabric of Telangana society is completely changing. Damaged the society. Rural society gone because of the policies, economic policies, agricultural policies, irrigation policies, and handicrafts lost in this period. We'll be talking in globalization further. And life is gone. Culture is completely gone. Even textbooks in this period were completely Andhraized. So they have made all the changes to subjugate, colonize, psychologically, physically Telangana. So this period from 1972 onwards demark a phase in the history of Telangana. Telugu pride, a fake news. Telugu pride, fake news got cut cheyali. Telugu pride or Telugu nation. These are the slogans which came as a false or fake identity for Telangana. And unfortunately, because the ruling class has given it as the slogan, Telangana also followed it to some extent. Blurred our vision to some extent, only to some extent. They could not do, because anything which is false cannot be kept as a mask for long. So what we will see here, these things, though they have masked, finally what we have talked about, last point I am talking about, the identity. Just I am leaving a link about colonization of Telangana. Statues on Tank Bund, out of 32 originally installed, only 6 are Telangana statues out of 33. Later addition is Komaram Bhim. So these were the targets in the last phase of Telangana movement, that is Million March. We will talk much about it. Symbols. Last point I'll end before the assembly about colonizing or occupying the space. You see the Chaurasta, Assembly Chaurasta, just opposite to Ravindra Bharati, opposite to Assembly. The statue of Tanguturi Prakasham is installed there. Tanguturi Prakasham has nothing to do with Hyderabad city or this state. He was the Chief Minister of Andhra, not Hyderabad. The first Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh is Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Either you should have his statue or you should have the statue of Burgula Ramakrishna Rao. That will be more apt. But they have erected Tanguturi Prakasham statue at Assembly, Chaurasta. What does it mean? Means creating the symbols of Andhra in the heart of the city to colonize us psychologically and physically. This is the aspect.